In the heart of ancient China, where mist curled around the peaks and rivers carved their eternal melodies, the Shaolin Temple stood like a hidden flame. To the outside world, it was a place of warriors, masters of discipline and martial arts. Yet beyond the movements of the body, it was first and foremost a sanctuary of the spirit. The monks believed the mountain itself was alive, breathing in silence. They rose before the sun, when the sky was still pale, to listen. In their stillness, they felt the rhythm of the earth beneath their bare feet, a slow and endless heartbeat. They inhaled as the mountain inhaled, exhaled as the river exhaled. To breathe with nature was to dissolve the illusion of separation. Tao, the way, was not written in words for them. It was a living current, flowing through stone, leaf, wind, and silence. The monks trained not to conquer the world, but to empty themselves, to become like vessels through which the Tao could pass. They spoke of the paradox: the more one sought, the less one found. Only in releasing the grasping mind, only in surrender, could one taste the essence of the way. To fight without fighting, to act without striving, this was the hidden teaching that carried them beyond the illusions of power and weakness. Each day was not marked by clocks, but by the turning of the light. The monks moved through a rhythm older than time: meditation at dawn, movement at mid-morning, work in silence, prayer at dusk. Their meals were offerings, not consumption; their training was devotion, not conquest. They practiced qigong beneath the whispering pines, sensing currents of energy that danced invisibly between heaven and earth. They placed their palms together, not in worship of gods outside themselves, but in reverence for the living Tao within their own hearts. The silence of their discipline was itself a mantra, a vibration echoing through centuries. In the secluded courtyards of the monastery, the monks trained not only the body but the spirit. Each strike, each stance, was an invocation of balance. Movements of kung fu were never meant as violence; they were prayers in motion, the language of the body conversing with the Tao. The fire that burned within them was not the fire of anger, but the fire of clarity. By channeling their qi, the subtle life force, they learned that true strength was not in force, but in harmony. The strongest warrior was the one who mastered his own storms, who could hold the raging tide within a single breath of stillness. They understood that the real battlefield was never outside, but within. To silence 1,000 thoughts was harder than defeating 1,000 enemies. They meditated in caves, listening to the dripping of water as if each drop were a teacher. In the emptiness of the mind, visions would arise: the tiger, the crane, the dragon, not mere animals, but archetypes of power, grace, and wisdom. The monks did not worship these forms; they embodied them, allowing their spirits to merge with the eternal rhythms of creation. To the Shaolin monks, life and death were but two steps in the same eternal circle. They believed that clinging to life was the same as clinging to a shadow, and so they practiced the art of release. When one monk died, the others chanted not in sorrow, but in recognition of his return to the Tao. Death was not an end, but a folding back into the infinite. This deep trust gave them a fearlessness that no weapon could cut. Their daily meditations on impermanence were not morbid, but liberating. To live each moment as if it were the last was to truly be alive, to drink deeply from the sacred stream of the present. In the Shaolin way, enlightenment was never sought in distant heavens, but in the smallest acts. To sweep the floor, to carry water, to tend the garden, these were meditations as sacred as sitting in silence. The monks believed that the Tao revealed itself in simplicity. A grain of rice carried the wisdom of the entire cosmos; a single drop of dew mirrored the infinity of stars. In learning to see the infinite within the ordinary, they walked the hidden road of immortality, not of the body, but of the spirit. They knew that within every being there lived both shadow and light. To deny one was to cripple the other. In their training, they did not seek to banish darkness but to embrace it, to balance it with light, as yin balances yang. A monk who feared his shadow could never know peace. Only by bowing to both sides of existence could he walk in harmony with the Tao. Thus, the Shaolin path was not a path of perfection, but of wholeness. As dusk fell, the sound of wooden gongs carried across the valleys. The monks gathered in the temple, their chants rising like smoke toward the heavens. Each syllable was not a word, but a vibration, weaving them into the fabric of the cosmos. They believed that every chant echoed forever, carried by the wind, woven into the stars. In this way, their prayers were not bound to time. Long after their bodies had dissolved into dust, the resonance of their devotion would remain, whispering through the silence of the mountains. To the Shaolin, the Tao was like a river, endless, flowing through all forms, yet never bound to any. A monk who surrendered himself to this river ceased to struggle. He became like water, soft yet unbreakable, yielding yet unstoppable. They taught that wisdom was not in holding, but in letting go. Just as the river shapes the stone not by force, but by patience, so too the Tao shapes the soul of one who walks its way. The monks never sought immortality of flesh, though legends were told of their strength and endurance. Their true immortality was the echo they left in the world, a teaching that outlived bodies, a presence that lingered in silence. Each act of compassion, each moment of discipline, each breath aligned with the Tao became a thread in the great tapestry of eternity. In this way, their lives were not their own, but offerings to the endless way. At night, when the stars burned bright above the mountain peaks, the monks would sit in silence beneath the heavens. They did not pray for blessings, nor ask for answers. They simply listened. In that listening, they discovered the great secret, that the Tao was not something to reach, but something already within. The stillness of the mountain, the flow of the river, the rhythm of their own hearts, all were the Tao, eternal and unbroken. And so, the legacy of Shaolin was not of warriors or mystics alone, but of human beings who chose to live in harmony with the unseen currents of the universe. Their story was not of conquest, but of return to the simplicity, the silence, the infinite way.